Hi, Simon. Simon,
Hello.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. I'm just gonna,
Good, yeah.
I'm just gonna have a go at height. Have I disappeared? Yeah.
You have disappeared. Yes, there's Newbury Racecourse in the middle, and I can see my picture at the top.
Okay, I just need to. So it still said Newbury Racecourse, yeah. You there, Simon?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hi, Tom.
Hello.
Hi, Tom. You all right?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Ed. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah, just
Good. Hey, Si, you all right, mate?
I'm all right, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, mate. I'm just turning off all my devices so I can maximize my internet power.
Hi, Si.
Hi, Rish. How are
Rishi.
you, mate?
All right. Hi, Tom.
Hello, mate.
All right.
Right, I'm just going to go and tell my kids to shut up.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. Where you been today?
I've actually been nowhere. I had two runners at Taunton. They wouldn't have won a raffle, but
Yeah, just turn the Wi-Fi. Hi, Dan.
hey, Simon, you're right.
Yeah, good.
Good man. Are you going to be there?
Up to Rish today. Where were you today, Rish?
In a meeting for about 24 hours, it felt like, talking about the flat pattern.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Who cares?
How did you get involved in that?
I asked myself the same question as the fourth hour ticked by.
Don't you just upgrade group twos to group ones and don't downgrade anything else? So we just
I thought there were kickbacks, but I got that wrong.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, Jesus, what a disaster. Unlike you, Rish.
You do all the work. You do all the work. Nick Luck spends all his time going to Bahrain and
Hello.
Qatar and
Bloody lives the dream.
yeah. How are you, David?
Good evening. How's it going?
Hi, David. All right.
Yeah, good. How are you, Rishi?
Every time I look up, you're having another winner. What's going on?
Oh, bloody hell.
Must be good horses.
50 to 1?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it shouldn't have been 50 to 1, to be fair.
Like the one today.
Tip, Bassett.
Sorry?
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, no worries. It's paid for my Christmas, that one yesterday.
Well,
Only joking.
£1.99 on a nut loaf.
You're not a gambler, are you, Edmund?
Only when you send me tips, Bassett.
That's the wrong time to be a gambler.
Yeah. Excellent. John Francome, welcome.
Hey, Franks.
He stopped.
He's frozen.
He's frozen.
Hi, John, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can just hear you now.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Rishi,
Hey,
how are
Frank.
you? Oh, well, David, brilliant. Well done. You're having great run, son.
Cheers, John. How are you, all right?
Well, it's long overdue, but well deserved.
Thank you.
Well, it is.
So, John,
50 to 1 winner as well yesterday.
Yeah.
We got a diverse little team here, Rishi.
Oh, well, I'm happy, John.
Very good. Well, you got a carrot cruncher over here.
Who's that?
Me.
Him, Francome.
okay, John, I'm going to put you where they can't see you, and I'll bring you in at the right time, yeah?
Or I'm only here so I can hear what they're saying, and then when you need me, I can come in.
Lovely.
Okay, lovely.
Dan,
How's
you
it
there
golf,
tomorrow?
Johnny?
Sorry.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone, yeah?
Yeah. Dan, yeah, I'm gonna be at Newbury tomorrow. You're there tomorrow, Dan.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm going to go both days.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
This new 2,000 spectators on a racecourse, that like weekdays, that's going to be nearly back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be lucky to get 2,000.
There you go.
But that's the point. I mean, the challenge will be is that whole social distancing measures still have to be in place. So how you manage the people who come in terms of I'm sure they don't all just congregate around the parade. Do you know what I mean, Dan? I think that's the challenge for the race courses. You know.
Sorry, I might just have to stop and count you in, if that's okay.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, Simon. So I'm going to click go live on Facebook, which then means you're live, and then I'll start the thing on Zoom, okay? Everyone happy with that?
Perfect.
Rock and roll.
Go for it.
I'm not showing, yeah?
You are showing right
you
now.
are.
You
yeah?
are.
Oh. Am I showing now?
No.
No.
But it doesn't say Newbury Racecourse or anything, yeah?
Does.
It does.
It
say
says
Newbury.
Newbury Racecourse, yeah.
But now I can see Tom.
Okay, I'm just going to start the webinar and try and get it going. Okay, guys?
Ready.
Cheers, Edmund.
Excellent. Okay, good luck. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Newbury Racecourse Ladbrokes Winter Carnival preview evening. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Ladbrokes and Just Seats. And tonight, just to let you all know that we're raising money for a very important cause, the Injured Jockeys Fund, of course, like everybody else, affected by COVID this year. So we're encouraging as many of you as possible to make a £5 donation by clicking the link. It's at the bottom of your screen. And Ladbrokes have kindly provided each of our panelists tonight a £50 bet on a runner at the meeting for charity, with any winnings going to the Injured Jockeys Fund. Before I introduce the panel, just a quick reminder that Newbury have produced a digital race card, which you can download from the Newbury Racecourse website. And good news, looking ahead to 2021, the tickets are already on sale for the Ladbrokes Winter Carnival next year, and the sale starts this evening. There's a £10 discount on the full prices across all Premier and Grandstand tickets. You've got until the end of November to book at the special price, and Newbury assure us that it will be some welcome in 2021. Now it's time to introduce the panel. First of all, the best tipster in the land, Tom Segal. The best young trainer in the land, Dan Skelton. The best jockey, certainly on current form in the land, David Bass. And the best bookmaker PR in the land for Ladbrokes, Simon Clare. And of course, we've got a couple of well-known faces, indeed well-known voices, joining us a little bit later on in John Francome and Rory Bremner. We'll also have a couple of polls for you to vote on during the next hour or so. And also, if you've got any questions, please use the Q&A function on your screens, and the panel will do the best to answer as we go along. We are, of course, previewing 6 of the races at this year's Ladbrokes Winter Carnival. But to help us get in the mood, why don't we remind ourselves of what it was like 12 months ago?
Paisley Park driven out towards the line. It's going to be a narrow one, but it's a victory. Paisley Park, another win. Champ on the far side, though, galvanised through by Barry Geraghty. Just gets round the elbow in front there, and it is Champ now who goes on the win. It is the Racecourse who's won the Ladbrokes Trophy.
Marshall, 12 stone 7 on his back, was ready, and it's Borrow lad putting up a tremendous performance here to become the 5th successive favourite to win the Hennessy Gold. And at the line, Wayschool is the winner.
This could be one of the great performances in the long history of the Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. Denman under 11-12 delivers in tremendous style. It's many clouds now at Leighton Aspel in front, and they're going to win the Hennessy in the colours of Trevor Hemmings.
Indeed, who will be crowned this year? Well, that's something that we'll be asking the panel a little bit later on. But some great names, the racecourse, and this meeting in particular, associated with so many great horses. Let's get straight into our preview. And the first race we're going to look at is the 150 tomorrow, which is the Ladbrokes Committed to Safer Gambling Novices Chase. Back in the day, won by horses like Denman, Bobsworth, Coney Gree, Clan de Zovo. So a race that has a rich history, but just the 3 runners Simon, I'm going to come to you. Fiddler on the Roof, Caribbean Boy, and Getaway Trump. We can see the odds there. What's the story with the market here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a small field. Obviously, Fiddler on the Roof is the 10 to 11 favourite. Been reasonably well back, just shortened up in the betting slightly. But just the last sort of 12 hours, really, we've seen a lot of money for Getaway Trump. He's the outsider of 3, the old line about, back the outsider of 3. I'm not sure Tom will have a view on that. But he's been back from sort of, 5 6s into 4 to 1 and shorter, actually, still being backed. The record of the race, there's been plenty of favourites won, 5 favourites in the last 9 years. The other 4 years, 3 times have been the second favourite. Obviously, it's a three-runner race. So I suppose that's probably quite likely to happen again. But interesting enough, about the one time that the first and second favourite hasn't won the last 9 years was trained by Dan Skelton, 3 Musketeers. He was the 72 third favourite. So clearly, small select field. Fiddler on the Roof coming off that good win at Exeter. But, a compelling little 3-runner race and a classy outfit installed. Yeah,
I think it is a good race, even though it's just 3. All 3 have a good case to be made for them. Dan, seeing that you've won it before, why don't we start with you and get your view on who you think might win?
I think it's a trappy little contest. The horse who's definitely underachieving over fences more than anybody expected is Getaway Trump. I think he was 153, 155-ish rated over hurdles. So he's definitely getting away with sort of not achieving as much as he should, perhaps. But Fiddler on the Roof is a Grade 1 winner last year. He's got his act together just recently. He's a worthy favourite, and I do think he'll take a bit of beating. A trappy contest, though. And look, it's a shame for the race that there's only 3 runners. You can't really dawdle on and talk about it too much. So, I think the favourite is the correct favourite, but I don't think he's cast iron.
Okay, I quite like the favourite myself. David, the old cliche question, if you could ride one of these, which one would it be?
I would ride the favourite. Sorry to be boring again.
It's not going to be a theme for the evening, is it?
Well, yeah, I hope not. But I'd definitely ride the favourite in this race. I just think that he's a proper horse that. He was a Grade 1 winner over hurdles. He always looked like he'd be a better chaser. He won last time out. And yeah, I can't really have the other 2. Getaway Trump actually beat me at Fakeland the other day on a horse called Happy Go Lucky. And I really like that horse. But, Getaway Trump, he was quite sort of, he didn't jump as well as you'd need to in that contest tomorrow. So, yeah, I think the favourite will take a bit of beating.
Okay, favourite take a bit of beating. Tom, I know you're the kind of guy who doesn't really pay much attention to ratings and all that sort of stuff. You go on instinct, don't you? Which is what I like about you. What does your instinct tell you?
Is that all you like about me?
One of the things I like about you, I should have prefaced. What are your instincts telling you about who the best horse is in terms of raw ability in that race?
Well, I'm against the guys. I think Caribbean Boy is a really exciting horse for this year. What I've got against him a bit is that he wasn't so good on his debut last year, and his win, which was really impressive in a good time, a good horse called the Big Bite of Henry Oliver's. It was with Tom George at the time. He's moved to Henry Oliver. He won recently at Aintree, I think. I think the form's really good. And what I really liked about him was the time. I think he's got the potential to be really, really good. My issue with him is that tomorrow it's first time up since then, long time off, and also it was heavy ground where he won, when he beat the Big Five. So don't think it's going to be like that tomorrow. I think the fact that the favourite Fiddler on the Roof has had a run, in fact he's had 2 runs, might swing it in his favour tomorrow. But I think going forward, I prefer Caribbean Boy of all of them. Okay, interesting. Because Simon, just looking at what Tom's saying about Fiddler on the Roof having a run, I think he benefited from having a run at Exeter because he out-battled Silver Hallmark, who I think is a really good horse, by the way, because he actually beat McFabulous over hurdles. And then Fiddler on the Roof obviously got into a battle with him, and he was expected to win, being a Grade 1 winner over hurdles in the Tolworth, etc. And they pulled a long way clear of Sporting John, even though a few people were making excuses, I think, understandably, that Sporting John wasn't quite at his best. How do you buy into this one?
Well, I think Fiddler on the Roof is a really good horse. He was bought to be a good horse. He was 200 grand at the entry sales, won the Grade 1 hurdle. I think Joe Tizar was talking about the fact that race at Exeter, we had to get into real battle, would have done Fiddle on the Roof a hell of a lot of good, and I learned a lot from that. He probably looked at both seeds. They're going to ride him really aggressively tomorrow. 3-1 a race. I think they're probably going to try and make it. Getaway Trump's interesting, as Dan said. He ran in the Christmas Hurdle last year, was pulled up in that race. He's got some really good 2-mile form. The fact that suddenly they were going up to 2.5 miles here, quite interesting, trying to find a different angle for him. And Caribbean Boy is worried about the ground. A lot of form and very soft ground. Looks like the ground's going to be really good tomorrow. So I think maybe it all plays in Fiddler on the Roof's favour. And I hope so. He looks a good horse. It's the sort of horse you want to get behind and hope can be running the bigger race this season.
Yeah, I think, okay, so the panel in the majority leaning for Fiddler on the Roof, but Tom has a suspicion that Caribbean Boy might turn out to be very good. So that's the first race that we're previewing of the 6. The next race we're previewing, and bearing in mind that the first race only got 3 runners, so we swiftly move through that. But the next one is an absolute cracker. It's a Ladbrokes long distance hurdle. Paisley Park, the former Stayers Hurdle winner in there. Fabulous. Is he the new kid on the block? Time Hill, a lot expected this season. Somerville Boy's been around the top level for a while. What about Lisnagar Oscar, Simon? Look at where he features in the market, the reigning champion Stayers Hurdle winner.
Yeah, he did us bookies a huge favour last year, winning at 50-1 in the Stayers Hurdle. Ran an okay comeback, but this is a deep race. I mean, we've been sponsoring the race now. I think this is our 4th year. By far the best renewal since we've started sponsoring the event. Probably one of the best ever. This is like a mini world hurdle. And the fact that you've got the Staying Hurdle champion 16-1, Paisley Park odds against at 9-4 looks much stronger than last year's race. And the money has come for Time Hill today. Obviously ran a great race now at Barnet. Probably wasn't run to suit that day. But a young progressive horse, and Honest Vic, a progressive horse from Henny Dale. Daly's been back from about 14s into 11. So they're the ones for money today, but a cracker race. Can't wait to hear what the panel think, because it's as good a renewal as I can remember.
It is a cracking renewal. Dan, I'll start with you, because you've obviously got a Petit Soir who clearly hasn't been the easiest horse to train for either you or Paul, but he has so much ability. I mean, you've known him for his whole career in the UK. I mean, he's just the most magnificent horse, considering all the problems he's had, surely.
Yeah, he's probably one of those horses that if he'd have had a really clear run through his career, he could have been, on the borderline of a star. In our eyes, he's been a star anyway. He obviously won at Cheltenham before he joined us, and we've won at Aintree with him. I think he's going to need the comeback run tomorrow, if I'm totally honest. We ran him at this meeting 2 years ago. He finished 4th, and he went on to win at Cheltenham on New Year's Day. And I think I just feel that I've done as much work as I can with him. But he's a very big horse, very heavy horse, and I'd be absolutely baffled and gobsmacked if he didn't need the run. So he should run well up to 2 out, and then I can just see, given the depth of the race, I can just see the principals getting away from him. But I don't think that's a disrespectful comment to make about our horse. I think that's just the reality of the situation on the day.
Yeah, well, it's a fair comment, because this is as good a race for the Staying Hurdlers as we can remember in a while, and certainly the best domestic race. Tom, Paisley Park, where do you stand on him? Because, of course, this time last year we were saying there weren't that many horses that would threaten Paisley Park's crown. Physical ailments clearly held him back at the festival. How trusting are you of him on a return run?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a very tricky one, because, as a tipster and a punter, do I want to take a short price about a horse that's been beaten miles last time? I never do, not on their first comeback run, especially not in this race. I know Simon said it's a mini Stayers. So I think it's the best staying hurdle I've seen run in this country, Cheltenham or not, for 2.5 years, since Big Bucks' time. I think it's brilliant. Yeah. I think you've got every single horse that you could want in there that isn't Irish running in the race. I think it's the best race we've had this season of any type over jumps. I think it's an absolute superstar race, which is why at the prices, I think Paisley Park is taking on the best field he's ever taken on, even including his Staying Hurdle wins. He's got young up and coming horses up against him. I think it's an absolute cracker. Would I back him at, did you say 7-4, Si?
9-4.
What? Sorry?
9-4.
9-4. No, I wouldn't back him at 9-4. I'd have to take him on, because it's just it's such a good race. You've got McFabulous in there, who was brilliant at Chepstow. I personally think he's got a bit to find. You've got Time Hill. I love the novices from last season. I thought all the novice races at the Cheltenham Festival were the standout races. Your Envoy Allens, your Shishkins. I thought the Albert Bartlett was really good. I thought the chasers, maybe not the Arkle, but the other chasers were brilliant. And I think the novices going into the all age category now, I'm going to follow them until the season's finished because I think they're really good. So I'm with Time Hill tomorrow. I thought he should have won the Albert Bartlett. I really did. I thought he went round the outside. He got squeezed out at the last. And if you look at his record fresh, it's brilliant. He won his bumper fresh. Every time he's run fresh, he's won. Or even when he's gone to the festival, he's had 3 months off before he was third to Envoy Allen. He had a long time off before he was ran so well in the Albert Bartlett last year. I just think he's a different strand to the form. And while he was a nice price at 5 or 6 to 1 yesterday, I see he's been well back today, which is a bit annoying. But even at 4 to 1, I think that's a good price because he's just a different. He's a different thing. He's a different thing for Paisley Park to take on, and I like those novices coming into this sort of grade.
Yeah, a new angle of attack.
That's what I meant.
And he was a little bit unlucky in the Albert Bartlett. Would have finished closer with a cleaner run. So I can definitely see the case for him. David, what are your thoughts on how the race is shaping up? I mean, and what Tom says about it being the best staying hurdle race that he can remember in the last few years.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I think it's a cracking race. I'm not going to go with the favourite this time. I'm not going to be boring, but I will go with the second favourite. I think Paisley Park is vulnerable. Off the back of a disappointing run at Cheltenham. And I just can't get away from how impressed I was with McFabulous at Chepstow. I know it might not have been the strongest grade 2 in the world, but the way he just travelled and quickened up and won as he liked, I just thought it was a horse that, is potentially a grade 1 horse. But, like Tom, I really like Time Hill. I've always liked him as a horse. He could improve again and run a massive race. And even looking further down, horses like, some of Sam Spinner's form from, he might have to go back quite far, and he was obviously disappointed in the Charlie Hall over fences. But if he comes back to his best form, then he could run a massive race at a price. Yeah, I mean, if I could ride one, I think I would go on, the improvement that McFabulous, he could just step up into being a genuine grade 1 horse.
Yeah, and thanks for reminding us about Sam Spinner. You're right. Of course, he split a couple of horses for Heen and Paisley Park in the Stayers Hurdle 2019. So there aren't many horses that you can definitely rule out in this race. Dan, I've already asked you about Petit Soin. I'd love to ask you a little bit more about the top 2 in the market, because from a trainer's perspective, Paisley Park is interesting in how they're going to. Obviously, he's had that massive issue with his heart problems after the festival, or at the festival last year, and bringing him back this year, what that might entail. And of course, you would know Paul Nichols's MO with regards to a horse like McFabulous, where he's obviously stepping up in trip. Does he give you the impression, McFabulous, that he's got more improvement to come?
Yeah, massively. I mean, Paul believes in this horse as much as I've heard him ever believe in any horse, really. And I think the 11-4 reflects Paul's positivity more than the reality of his form, because he won an EBF final, he won an OK grade 2 on pretty quick ground in October, and all of a sudden he's taking on Tyne Hill, who won a grade 1 as a novice, Somerville Boy, who's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Lisnagar Oscar is the reigning champion, and that's before you even get to Paisley Park. So I think McFabulous is heavily reliant upon Paul Nicholls and his belief in him, because he has to find £10 at least to win that race tomorrow. I feel it's possible, and if Paul Nicholls says it'll happen, it normally does. But I do think that tomorrow is a big day for both of them, because you'll come out of that race tomorrow and you will know if he's going to be that good as a hurdler, or if you know, your Grade 1 turn's going to come over fences. Whatever happens, he's going to be a good horse. You know, anybody can see that. Paisley Park's really interesting because you take away his last run, you know, he's as dominant as any stayer has been for years. You know, he does things wrong in a race and still wins. You know, he gets outpaced, he races lazily, and then he flies home. Just when everybody, you know, when every other jockey in the race thinks they've got Paisley Park beat and commits for home, all of a sudden he comes home better than everybody else and wins. Now, obviously that didn't happen at Cheltenham because of the fibrillating heart. If that literally only happened on that day and it had never ever happened before, and I'm not saying that Emma and her team didn't see that. What I'm saying is that horses can't talk. And if it only ever happened at Cheltenham, he won't really have a bad memory of it. It'll just been something that happened to him. He's been treated for it. He's over it. And if mentally he doesn't have any memory of it, and obviously physically it's left no mark, they're all in big trouble tomorrow because Paisley Park is as good as we've seen for a long time. Massive, massive if. And you can see from the drift on him that everybody else is thinking the same thing. It's a massive if. But, you know, we've all been there beforehand when we've tried to be clever and looked at different angles of the races. And then after the event, the best horse won and it won Ansem. And you said, well, wasn't that obvious? So, you know, I still feel it is his race to lose. You know, it's going to be, if he's on song, it's going to be very hard to beat him.
Well, he is the top-rated horse in the race. I think he's got £7 in hand, according to the ratings of his of the horse that replaced him as the leading Stayers Hurdle winner, of course, in Lisnagar Oscar. Simon, when looking at the race from a betting point of view, at least because of the competitive nature of it, it's an attractive betting race.
Oh, it's good. Listen, this will be a huge, because of the quality of the horses in it, the fact it's 9 to 4 the field, the fact it's got a marquee horse in Paisley Park, one of the most popular horses in training, and it'll be a bumper betting heat. The fact it's on the Friday, not the Saturday, so it's the feature on the Friday, and it really is set up beautifully. And I mean, I think Dan's absolutely right. The good field makes the market for Paisley Park backers, because if he can run to his best, he'll beat these at a very backable price. Could be 11 to 4 tomorrow. And if he doesn't run to his best, he won't win because there's good opposition lined up against him. So it's quite an interesting, and there'll be lots of people who will. You know, there'll be people trying to be clever, wise guys coming up with whether it's McFabulous or Time Hill. But all the people who are just sort of passionate fans of the big name horses are going to back Paisley Park at a very backable price, and they could well be laughing at us all when we try and get him beat. I would try and get him beat as a bookie and a punter. I like Time Hill. Somerville Boy, actually quite interesting, Dan. He beat Chittavella at Aintree, beat Roxana on New Year's Day. He's been a bit of a nemesis for a couple of your horses, Somerville Boy, isn't he? It'd be interesting to see whether you think that form's good enough. Because I think he's quite interesting each way. But great race.
What do you think will win, Simon?
I'd be Time Hill. I'm a Time Hill man. I thought Fury Road, Jana Dill, latest exhibition, all come out of that race and won this season. It looks a really strong Albert Bartlett. He's for me.
I think that's 3 for Time Hill. Dan was leaning towards Paisley Park, and I'm sticking with McFabulous as the up and comer. So we've got a few covered there. So that's tomorrow's Ladbrokes Long Distance Hurdle. As the guys have all said, a fantastic race. It's time now for our first poll of the evening, and it is: who will win the National Hunt Trainers Championship this season? Will it be Nicky Henderson, who of course has got an extremely strong team as per usual, and of course reintroduced Shishkin just recently? Paul Nicholls is out in front, and he has had a tremendous spell, and of course long been touted for a long time as the man who may end up shaking the dominance of Henderson and Nicholls. Our very own Dan Skelton, who's with us this evening. So place your votes for who you think will win the National Hunt Trainers Championship. Tom, have you got a view on this?
I have a very strong view. I think Paul Nicholls will win it by miles, Rishi. Fortunately for all Nicholls fans, and unfortunately for Dan.
Dan, I'm guessing, obviously, you would think maybe Paul might shade it this year or this season.
I think, given the way the shortened season, the reduction in prize money, and the urgency of which Paul starts the season and then maintains it, I think Nicky's out too slow. I don't think it's a tactical thing. I think that's just how Paul is. But I think the reality is, I think Nicky's out too slow. He's giving himself too much to make up when the prize money's not as big as it was.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah, and Paul is. There's Paul. Only thing is, if Paul's £500,000 in Clare on the 1st of January, Paul will be thinking it's his to lose, and he won't lose it then.
He'll be relentless. 49% of you think it's going to be Paul Nicholls, 44 for Nicky Henderson, and 7 for Dan. So people hold some hope out for you, Dan. Don't give up.
Those 7%. Thank you very much.
How many times did you vote, Dan?
You are true believers.
We're gonna switch our attention to Saturday for our next preview race, and the Ladbrokes John Francome Chase, Santini, Thistlecrack, Native River, previous winners. And amongst the key contenders for this year's race, we have Next Destination, first time over fences, Kaluki, who actually put up quite a sparkling debut over fences, Hold the Note, who placed at the festival, Southall Stone, AC Milan, won for the team. Simon, how do you think the market's going to shape up in the lead up to this race?
Yeah, we've chalked up Next Destination as 15-8 favourite. Obviously, a great run first time out for Paul after such a long absence. Grade 1 winner. Kaluki, obviously in form, fit, 3-1 second favourite. Hold the Note, ran a big race at Cheltenham last year, 9-2, 11-2, the Paul Nicholls second string, Southall Stone, 6-1 AC Milan, and 9-1, one for the team. So nice little trappy contest. Obviously some great winners over the years. Elegant Escape, Thistlecrack, Native River. If there is a top class horse in this, you feel it'll be Next Destination. So I think he'd be the one that most punters will zone in on.
Okay, I'll kick things off here with David, if you don't mind. David, when you look at the quality of this field, it's very strong. And of course, there's a horse in this race in Hold the Note that finished behind your horse, Imperial Aura, at the Cheltenham Festival. Yet he's lining up here against some other inexperienced horses over fences. What sort of chance do you give him?
I'd give him an each-way chance at best, if I'm honest. He has got some strong form from last year, but I just don't think he'll be good enough, to be honest. I think the favourite will take a lot of beating. Sorry to be boring again, but I think the favourite is the best horse in the race. I think he had a very good run first time out this season. I like the Hobbs horse, but again, I don't think he'll be good enough. I think the best horse in the race is the favourite, and I think he'll win.
It's as simple as that. And the race you referred to him having his first run in, Dan, Next Destination, that was behind a very talented mare by the name of Roxana, who looked, by the way, extremely impressive at Wetherby. So what do you think about Next Destination now he's heading over fences?
I think it's the obvious and most, the most probable route that Paul was going to take was going to go over fences. I think because there's not a standout horse in this race, and an even money shot in this race that to take on why Paul's debuting a horse around Newbury in a Grade 2. Okay, the horse has got a bit of a checkered injury path, so you could say, well, you've got to win what you can whilst the horse is okay. But I do feel that it's based on quality why Paul might be dipping this horse in at this level. I have to say, I think Kaluki's going to take a hell of a lot of beating here. I thought he was very good around Newbury the first time. He's a huge horse. He's a relentless galloper. Okay, he didn't achieve anything like Next Destination did over fences, over hurdles, but this horse is a pure chaser. He's built like a chaser. And the odd one or two fences on the way around that weren't in the right place, he was kind of big enough to nudge them out of the way almost, and he didn't even break stride, which I'm sure David will tell you as a jockey isn't the greatest feeling around, but they literally just did not stop him. And I think he get into a rhythm around there. Yes, there's going to be the odd one or two fences that aren't in the right place for him, but he's already showed that he can negotiate them when it's tricky. And I think he will make them go hard to catch him up. And novices in behind with little experience around those big fences, they can get themselves in trouble. I think Kaluki, he'll take a good bit of beating.
Yeah, he winged around nearly all of those fences at Newbury. It was very impressive. He was slick. Tom, what's your view on this?
I wouldn't be on Next Destination. Too many negatives for me, Rish. Too long off. Came back. It was look, he was absolutely trounced. Roxana would have won by, her furlong in another half furlong. She was absolutely trounced him. Look, he was a very good novice hurdler, wasn't he? But that's quite a long time ago. And you're asking him first time up over fences to come in here and win at 15-8? No, for me, never. I agree with Dan. I thought Kaluki was excellent on his debut. I thought he was really good. But I'm going to back the outsider of the whole field in this race, one for the team. He unseated his rider. Chester Williams fell off him at the last behind Kaluki the other day. But I think he's got good Newbury form. Do you remember he won a handicap hurdle here by about 15-20 lengths?
Yeah.
That was over 3 miles. I think the step up in trip's going to suit him. I just think it's ripe for an upset. I really do. I think Kaluki's the one to beat. But with Next to Nation making such a big dent in the market, I wish there was 8 runners, because I would be very keen on one for the team finishing in the frame and finishing in the 3. I'd still back him. I think he's the value in the race, but I am very scared of Kaluki. But I wouldn't be too concerned about Next to Nation. You can let him win. If he wins, great. Paul Nicholls has done another Paul Daniels on us. He's brought him back from nowhere. But for me, I can't have him.
Okay, I like Kaluki as well. I'd rather be with him, given what he did at Newbury first time up, and I see the case for one for the team for sure. Simon, your wrap-up thoughts on this race? I think you're on mute, Si.
Sorry, I was saying I'm the bookie, and I find myself being the one person who likes the favourite. Look, he was third. He was third in the Ballymore, won a Grade 1. His form's all tied in with the likes of Sangpro and Black Op, and Cracking Smart and good horses. I mean, Cracking Smart's not a great horse, but I mean, it just feels that I thought that second to Roxana, there was good horses in behind, like Kildesart and Lisnagar Oscar. So I think if he could run to that kind of form first time out, Paul Nicholls is that magician. 2-1-ish doesn't look that bad price against an okay field. I'll go with the favourite.
Okay, so next destination for you, for David, Kaluki for myself and Dan, and Kaluki half and one for the team for Tom. We'll move on and talk about a race that I think we remember fondly from 12 months ago, which is the Sir Peter O'Sullivan Memorial Chase. And we remember it fondly because, of course, one member of the panel, the only one, who would possibly have a chance of training the winner, did last year, Benny's King for Dan. And I hope I don't embarrass you, Dan, but of course, I don't know how many people know you kindly donated your share of the winning prize to Sir Peter's charity. So extremely well done, a very noble thing to do. So we hope you can do the job again, although David's got a runner in the race as well. So first of all, Dan, I'll start with you, and of course the memory of Benny's King, and I know he's a big prize. What about Captain Chaos?
Well, if Paul Nicholls is Paul Daniels to get Next Destination to win, I'm going to need to borrow his wand for this race. Chaos, to be fair, has been a magical horse for us, and I'm sure there's still more days in him, but he had a few really hard races last year. He was just beating the Rehearsal. He was just beating the Warwick Classic Chase. He won up at Doncaster in the Grimthorpe over 3 Mile 2 in real heavy ground, and I just feel like those races have left a bit of a mark on him. He's taken a long time this season to get the fire burning. Harry's back on him tomorrow, which I think is a positive because Harry knows him so well, and you have to be quite strong on him. And a bit better ground might see him jump a little bit better and getting a bit more of a rhythm. But truth is, his form's just not there at the moment. So I would be very, very surprised if we had a Benny's King moment. But I have to say, if he won, I'd be donating again, and it would be a very shock donation, but I would definitely do it again.
I'm certain you'd be doing it very willingly if he won again. Simon, just get a quick snapshot of the market for this Sir Peter O'Sullivan Memorial Handicap Chase.
Yeah, it's not surprising. We've got a couple of horses owned by JP McManus running in the Sir Peter O'Sullivan colours at the head of the market. Canelo and Cap Corsi. Canelo very impressive last time for the informed stable Alan King. Paul Nicholls obviously trains Cap Corsi. Got this first time out for a long time. And then Breland Das at a much bigger price. Was quite well back for the Paddy Power. Was pulled up in that race, which was quite an ugly contest on very soft ground. He's a 10-1 chance. He's attracted a little bit of money, but they're wide open, really competitive. We love it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah, very nice of you. David, talk to us about Rocky's Treasure, because he had the wind up and never really got a chance, obviously, to see what it did for him because of what happened to Kelso.
Yes, Kelso was a long way to go to fall off at the first fence. It was a bit of a disaster. I had one horse jump right, another one jump left, and to be fair, I couldn't even see the fence, and I don't know how the horse managed to stay upright, but I definitely fell off. So that was a bit of a shame. But he had a nice gallop around Kelso on his own, so hopefully he's come on for that. But he's a horse that had very good novice chase form. He was actually second to Santini 2 years ago, which is obviously, I mean, Santini was probably half fit, to be fair, but we still gave him a bit of a race. He won a Grade 2 at Doncaster. Last season didn't really work out for him. He's a bit like that. He has one good season, one average season, but on his day, he's got loads of ability. And he seems very well at home. He won't mind the ground. He'll handle good ground. But looking at the race, it's so open. But he's a decent price, and I wouldn't write him off running into a place, or hopefully better.
I was hoping for. I'm glad you said that, because I actually quite like him on that bit of form that you say. I love horses that run well at the track. It's a big thing. And he split Santini and Le Broil, and Le Broil obviously went on to win at the festival. Santini, we know what he's done. So at least there's some encouragement in what you say. Tom, what do you think is going to win?
Oh, tricky. Cap Course won it 2 years ago, didn't he? It caused a bit of a surprise. Bryony, I think, rode him when she wasn't. I don't think they were quite expecting him to win. I thought he was really good that day. He's had a wind up since. I would imagine this has been the plan. I mean, he's in the first Peter O'Sullivan colours, I see. So I'd imagine this has been the plan. Whether he's had a long time off though, isn't it? It's not Paul's real style to come for a decent pot with after such a long break. I personally like Orchardstown Cross a bit.
Yeah.
For Jeremy Scott, he was really impressive over course and distance last year. I think he's been running, in sort of sloggers races a bit, and I don't think that really suits him. I think better ground drop-in trip. Thought he ran well at Exeter on his comeback, and I thought he might outrun his odds.
Okay. And you mentioned the Cap Course, and of course Cap Course beat Brellandar in the race.
Yeah.
So it's all familiar territory for a lot of these horses. Dan, I don't think we got your likeliest winner, did we?
I think I was quite impressed with the horse called Canelo, who's actually top of the market. He won up at Aintree, beat a horse of ours who I thought was going to go places. And ours actually slipped on landing 2 out when we were upsides, and I felt like we had a little bit in hand. Maybe that one does as well. So he's a progressive horse. I'd love to see one of those colours win it for obvious reasons. And I think Brillandas has a hard job. Cap Course has a hard job winning after all that time off. So maybe the favourite will contract on the day. Okay.
And Simon, just get your thoughts on the likeliest winner.
Listen, very open. I'm going to go for Court Master, a horse. He runs Newbury really well. He was fourth last time with 2.5, stepping up the trip. I think he could go well over the longer trip.
Okay, guys, just to let you know, we've got 2 more races that we're previewing, the Jerry Fielding, and of course the Ladbrokes Trophy. But it's time for our second poll of the evening. So this poll is, who will win the National Hunt Jockeys Championship this season? Harry Cobden, David Bass, Richard Johnson and Brian Hughes. Well, I'm not sure he's going to win, although he's having a tremendous role at the moment, but I think it's worth pointing out that if you'd had £1 on every runner that David Bass has ridden this season, you'd be showing a £36 and change profit of course, he's had that 50-1 winner recently, but tremendous stuff, David.
Have you been talking to Matt Chapman?
No, I interviewed you the other day when you were riding winner after winner, and you failed to give me a mark out of 10 for a brilliant ride that you gave Bannockstown Glory at at Kempton. Who do you think, David? Who do you think is going to win it? A jockey's perspective.
Well, of course, I'm going to win it.
Thank you.
No, I think Brian Hughes will win it again. I mean, Harry Cobden and obviously Richard Johnson have a chance. Of course they do, but I think Brian Hughes, he just gets so many rides up north. Oh look, I'm on 7%. You know, I got the same as Dan. Look, 7%.
It's the same 7 people.
I've got some fans. Who's
the other? Who's the other?
Yeah, I was just about to say, who's other? Who do we think other could be? Harry Skelton.
Yes, get Harry Skelton. Yeah, no, I think that on the busy days when, you know, Harry might have to go and ride in decent races for Paul Nicholls, Brian might, you know, have sort of 5-6 rides at the third, fourth meeting, you know, especially on a weekend. And I think that might just sort of swing it in his favour in the long run. I think a couple of weekends ago, Harry had to go to a big meeting on Saturday, and Brian was at Ayr, I think, and had 6 rides and had 2 winners. And I think, you know, that's probably just going to be enough for him in the long run.
Okay. The numbers game obviously might work in his favour. David, thank you for the moment.
I've got the betting here, Rishi. Just on that, I mean, just to finish that bit off, actually, the betting is razor close. It's 10-11 Brian Hughes, even money Harry Cobden. So it really is a pick 'em at the moment in terms of who will win the Jockeys Championship.
And 100-1 the other.
Yes.
The 1%. Yeah. Okay. The penultimate race we're going to preview, everybody, is the Ladbrokes Committed to Safer Gambling Intermediate Hurdle, otherwise known as the Jerry Fielden. And Marie's Rock for Nicky Henderson and Nico de Boinville is the favourite here. Simon, I think this is one of those races where it just all depends on whether she is the real deal and ready to roll, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. But it's a tall order to come out first time out and try and win what is a competitive handicap. 11-8. Time White obviously was impressive. Won last time at Chepstow, 13-2. Botox Hash, should mention Joshua Moore had a 4-timer today at Lingfield, so the yard's in red hot form, and this was impressive last time out as well at 6-1. So good competitive race. The favourite is going to attract a lot of action, but as a bookie, I think we'll be looking to take it on.
Okay, we'll spin through this one and get thoughts on who's going to win. David, are you going with the favourite here?
Yeah, I'll be totally honest with you. I haven't had a good look at this race yet.
So yes, you're going with the favourite.
I did have a chat with Nico de Boinville today about Marie's Rock, but Nico being Nico, he wouldn't give much away, which is a bit annoying. But I do know that he's always really liked the horse, and yeah, I think if she's ready to rock and roll, I think she'll take a bit of beating. Okay,
so Marie's Rock, hopefully she is ready to rock and roll. Dan, who do you think will win?
Milkwood.
It's the correct answer.
There you go. Get the value out, boys.
Hey.
Milkwood, fourth in the Welsh Champion Hurdle.
Yeah, I think that's the strongest form on offer. You know, he's racing off the same mark as Marie's Rock, who hasn't run since December. Beat a horse at King the day that Marie's Rock won. Beat a horse at Kingies, who has only just got off the mark over hurdles. I can understand why Marie's Rock's obviously popular because she's won 3. Her only 3 starts for Nicky, but like she's got a big job on off that mark for a filly. And I know it's the route that they trod last year with Epatante and everything else, but Milkwood's he's always looked like a good horse, and he's always sort of competed in pretty good races, and I feel that run in the Welsh Champion Hurdle was a grown-up run in against this lot. The 2 4-year-olds, I think, are very progressive horses. I think they're both going to end up being very good horses, Time White and Botox Has. I think as they go forward in their careers, you will be hearing lots of them. But to win handicap hurdles with 4-year-olds before Christmas is just about as hard a thing as you can do, trainer. So I think it's really against them two. So let's go to Milkwood.
Tom, do you want to say any more on Milkwood? Are you just happy to say yes, Milkwood?
No, I'll say more, Rish. If you want more, I'll say more. Yeah, I just think the form's very good. Ballyhandy was second in the, what's it called, Greatwood. Buzz was third in the Welsh Champion Earl. That won by 15 lengths at Ascot. If you watch the race again, So Royal's gone in again in the Kingwell. Yeah. I just think that form is rock solid. If you watch the race again, he was last off the bridle, Milkwood. My slight concern is whether he gets home well enough to win a race like this. But if you look at the Racing Post ratings down the side there, when the card came up, Maurice Diamond's bottom. You know, she's if we're talking about horses with reputations that haven't done it yet, she's the archetypal one.
Yeah.
You know, everyone was talking about her as winning as being a potential winner of the Mayor's Hurdle at the festival. Well, she might have, but we don't know that yet. I mean, she's got a lot to prove in a race like this. And for someone like me as a punter, 11-8 about a horse like that, it's just a no-go. Where I'm happy to let her win. I'm really happy to let her win because she's got to improve 10 pounds, as Dan said. If she might be able to do it, but, you know, I'm on Milkwood. He's got better form. Okay,
no doubt. And Simon, your final thoughts on this race?
Well, funny enough, I was quite keen on Botox Has, given the stable form and he looks progressive. But Dan's put me off with his trainer insights. I'm not so confident now, but I'd definitely be taking on Marie's Rock for all the reasons Tom just said. I think it's a tall order for a first time out. We don't know how good she is.
Okay.
Just to say, Rich, Epatante was 3-1 to win this last year, and we know what she won the Christmas. He's talking 11-8 about a horse that hadn't done as much as she had.
Yeah, and Marie's Rock actually had an entry in the Fighting Fifth as well earlier on. But yeah, she does have a lot to prove. So I think we're lukewarm on her, but fairly interested in Milkwood as a group. Okay, so we are next going to preview the big race, the Ladbrokes Trophy. But before we do, I think it's time to introduce a couple of very special guests that will be with us to the end. First of all, a man who has won the Ladbrokes Trophy when it was in his previous guise on a couple of tremendous racehorses, including the mighty Borough Hill Lad, and he is, of course, one of the most famous faces in the sport of horse racing. That is John Francome. And I'd also like to introduce... Hi, John. How are you?
All good.
Great. And also like to introduce a very, very famous man, just generally, but someone who is a great supporter of the sport of horse racing. And he's someone that we really appreciate taking the time out to join us for the preview. And it's Rory Bremner. Rory, how are you?
I'm fine, Rishi. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Good.
I'm going to start with John here because I just wanted to recall the fact that you rode one of the great horses in Borough Hill Lad when he won the race. One of, I think, only 3 horses in the history of the race to carry 12 stone or more to victory. I think the other 2 were Arkle and Mill House. Just a little bit about your memories of the great race, John.
Well, he was a great big strapping horse. He was a little bit like Denman, lots of scope, good jumper, relentless galloper. He won a Welsh national with 10-7 on his back, Rishi. He didn't go unbacked, I can assure you. And before we say anything else, I've got to say, David Bass, very, very rare that you can nick a race jumping. But he nicked one at Kempton the other day on that filly of Donald McCain. So well done to David.
Yeah. Thanks, John.
I think that was a 10 out of 10 ride, David. I think that's what John's going to say.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
To say that, aren't you, Rishi?
He's too modest.
John, yeah, I can't actually see. There's just a J in the middle of the screen. Yeah. So for people, actually, just to let you know, Rishi, that was me for the last 2 minutes. That wasn't John.
John hasn't turned up.
John's. He's. I don't know where John is. He's still. You know, carry on if you like. I'll give you all the tips. Don't you worry about
that. Frank,
well, you're there.
Just before we go forward anymore, I just wanted to ask you very quickly about the Injured Jockeys Fund, because obviously this year it's tough for everybody, but being on the racecourse has been a big part of the Injured Jockeys Fund drive to raise funds. So it's important that people support in whatever way they can, and they can tonight.
Well, it's been hard for everybody the last 10 months. But of course, the 3 main centres, Oaksey House, Peter O'Sullivan House and Jack Berry House, they've all been limited as to how many people are being allowed to go there. And so the Christmas cards, and the calendars, which have always been a big part of the fundraising scheme, are even more important this year.
Thank you for saying that. And of course, if anybody wants to donate to the Indian Jockeys Fund, then please do. The link is at the bottom of the screen. Okay, let's look ahead to the big race. And Simon, take away the betting for us and tell us what's favourite. Look who's favourite. What a surprise.
Vindication is favourite, David. 6-1. No pressure, mate. No pressure. It's a wonderfully competitive race this year. You know, Vindication, obviously carrying, I think he's top weight, 6-1. I Write 15-2, along with Kildesar, around that good comeback in the hurdle race. The Conditional, won at last year's Cheltenham Festival, 8-1. Black Op, 9-1. Copperhead, disappointing at Wetherby, but quite short in the betting at 9-1. So clearly, people expecting a lot more from him. Then 2 for Gold at 9s. Cloth Cap, bottom weight of 10s. Tom Scudamore will be starving himself to do that weight. And then it's 12-1 bigger. The rest, just interesting that actually, for such competitive chase in the last 10 years, 3 favourites have won. And there's only been 1 winner bigger than 12-1, and that was Triola Deline at 20. So it probably suggests don't try and look for something crazy to win. Tom at 20-1 or 16-1, focus on that front 8 in the betting. There's plenty of them at 12-1 or shorter, though.
Okay, so David, not surprisingly, the favourite we're going to talk about, but you are riding this favourite. I wanted to ask you 2 things. One, was it an easy decision to ride Vindication over 2 for Gold? Please say no, because Ollie Bell will be gutted if you said it was an easy decision. And the other thing is, Vindication had a pop round fences at Newbury the other morning, and it wasn't the most fluent, I think would be fair to say, seeing a horse go around those fences at Newbury, albeit he was just schooling. So what are you thinking about him come Saturday?
Yeah, first of all, it wasn't an easy decision. 2 for Gold's a horse that I love riding. He's a good horse. He's a good jumper. He'll like the ground. But 2 for Gold's an interesting one because, you know, I've read a few things about this horse in the media, and a lot of people seem to think that he's an out stayer. And to ride him, he doesn't give me that impression yet. Anyway, he won a Grade 2 over 3 miles at Warwick, but the ground wasn't that bad that day. It was sort of good to soft, and he showed a lot of speed down the side over the 5 fences. You know, he ran over 2 mile 3 at Wetherby last time and made the run-in, and he only got outpaced by 1, you know, very well handicapped horse. So, you know, I could be wrong. He could be an out-and-out stayer, and 3 mile 2 will be exactly what he wants. But I'm not convinced yet. But you know, he's a very good horse. He's very tough. He jumps well, and it wasn't an easy decision. But I couldn't get off Vindication. He's a horse that has always shown a lot of class. Some of his form is rock solid. And yeah, to me, he's the class horse in the race. I was so confident going into Cheltenham in March before the handicap there. He was flying at home. And I thought, to be honest, I was going to win easily going to the last, and he just emptied quickly. And I think we just put that down to the fact that he'd had 1 run that season, got an injury, and he had all that time off, and he just lacked a recent run. And it was very, very hard work the ground. And he obviously had top weight. So I was massively disappointed he didn't win, but I think, you know, it was a genuine sort of excuse that he just hadn't had a run, and he got very tired. I'm better off at the weights with the Conditional. I'm better off at the weights of Kildesar, I think, as well, who's a horse that I see as a big danger. Going to his jumping, I think, yeah, I to be honest with you, I didn't take a lot of notice of the video of him schooling at Newbury, because he actually went there before 2 years ago, before Cheltenham, and he was shocking as well. He's a horse that, you know, the blood needs to be up and the adrenaline needs to be up on race day, and he's actually schooled as well as he ever has after Newbury the other day. So I'm not too worried. I mean, he's never had you'd say a clean jumping technique. He's got his own way of doing it, but I'm not. He gets from A to B, and it doesn't worry me too much. We put cheap pieces on him first time just to help with his concentration, because I think that's part of the problem. He can just be, a little bit sort of, it's all a bit of a game to him, and he just doesn't concentrate properly. So I'm not too concerned, and I'm confident. I'm confident that he's the best horse in the race, and hopefully he can go and win and show everyone how good he is.
Okay, and we wish you the very best of luck. Dan, you got Ardlethan in the race, still only a 7-year-old, clearly open to improvement still. What are the chances?
I think he's an each-way chance. I think he'll stay the trip well. I think this ground over 3 Mile 2 is perfect for him. He's had a run, and I think recent winners of this race need to have had a run. I know Denman didn't, but he is exceptional. I think you have to have had a run, so that box is ticked. Second season novice, that's another positive. But look, he doesn't hold the fancy form that Vindication does and Kill This Heart does and some of those others. So, he's going to be down a bit further down the betting. But at the same time, he doesn't have the weight that those horses do either. He's got a nice low weight, and I think the way the race is going to be run will suit him. And from the back of 3 out, you're going to need class, and you don't know you've got that until you get there. With Vindication that he has, with Kill This Heart that he has, and there's a few others in there, obviously, the same with. But it's a very competitive field. It's very open. But I do feel that there's sort of 8 or 10 horses in there that can't win.
Okay. Franks, what do you fancy in the big one on Saturday?
I want to ask David what Darryl said, because he's going up to ride So Royal in the Fighting Fifth. Was that a big decision to get off Kill This Heart?
Yeah, I to be honest, John, I think it was a big decision for him. I suppose he thought that So Royal, the form he's shown this year, and looking at the race at the Fighting Fifth, I suppose he thought that if Epatante wasn't fully wound up, then there was only sort of one to beat in that race. I would imagine that was his thinking. But I haven't actually asked him, but I'd imagine that it was a really tough decision for him to make. But he's probably thought that there was a chance of nicking a Grade 1. And he had to take that chance.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I know your horse has got plenty of weight, but he was second to the best horse in the country up at Wetherby. The conditional is needed a run to put him right every year for as long as I can remember. No, I think your horse will win. He jumps and he gallops. Newbury would be tailor-made for him.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, I think if we get into a rhythm early and have a nice position, I think. Yeah, I'm hoping he'll go very close.
Not sure whether the horse and Nick is Paul's secret investor, whether he jumps well enough when he's going a good clip around there. He looks a bit of a mutton head to me.
Fair enough. Rory, have you got a view on the race?
Well, I know nothing about. I'm really a novice with this. I don't really.
You're in good company.
I don't know.
That makes 5 of us.
I don't know my Arkle from my elbow, but I tell you, Dan said there are 8 to 10 horses that can't win, so I'll be on those, I'm sure. I think between the 4, I like Vindication. Yeah, Copperhead could be good for third time in 5 for Colin Tizard.
Yeah.
Probably. What a story I would be, because didn't the trainer Harriet Graham, she got run over by her own lorry the other day, which is quite a thing. I think she went to rescue somebody in a ditch and she did a handbrake on, and so she should really she should really train. What's a horse called? Shut the Truck Door. That would be a good one. I think she was hit by her own truck door, but that'd be a tremendous story. And also Callum Bewley, I think first time he's ever ridden at Newbury, so I think that would be a kind of romantic one. But yeah, Copperhead, Vindication, or possibly Beware the Bear. That's fourth the last 2 times. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you could go a couple better.
Yeah, he's.
I always say if you're going to be attacked by a bear, that you lay down on the floor and pretend to be dead.
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
Why?
So you get used to how you're going to be in about 2 minutes' time.
Oh,
Tom, just help us out here. Put a seal on who's going to win. It seems very strong. We're all supporting, or a lot of support for Vindication.
I think the Ladbrokes Trophy always splits into two categories, Rishi. If there's a Gold Cup horse in it, he wins. And if there's a Gold Cup horse in it, it's Vindication. The problem I've got with him is I'd like it going the other way around. If he was running at Ascot, I'd be all over him like a rash. I think he's much better right-handed. I think he shifts out to the right at his fences, and it's going to be a while. I wouldn't be lining up outside him, that's for sure. But I was riding in the race.
Tom, it's before your time, but you don't remember a horse called Diamond Edge winning this.
I do.
He kept running right-handed. Richard Pittman rode him. Was it Diamond Edge or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. He kept running violently right-handed, kept interfering with everything in the race. He didn't
Well,
stop
he might
him
not
winning.
stop him, John, but he's 5-1 favourite, so I'm going to be going elsewhere. I wouldn't be around there.
He was the Donald Trump of horses. He kept veering violently to the right. Everything else out of the way. But he was. That's what he did. He's still running. He's going to run in 2024, by the way.
So Tom, sorry, who wins?
Right out of left field, I think the bottom one, Cloth Cap's got a really big chance.
Ooh.
I think he's an 8-year-old. He's got cheek pieces on for the first time. He's right down the bottom of the weights. He was third in a Scottish National. He reminds me a lot of a horse that John Joe trained called Merry King, who was third to Many Clouds not that long ago. They both have a very similar profile. He's got the cheek pieces on. I just think John Joe's horses, when they're aimed at a big race, like Sky Pirate the other day in the thing that would have been second or third, and Tegarek would have been second in the Greatwood. I just think it's spot on. I think he's got the perfect preparation for the race. I think he'll love the ground. I think right down on the bottom of weights with Tom Skoo doing 10 stone, I think he'll go really well.
Okay, and Simon, I think we're missing your selection. That's it.
And I think at a price, Mr. Malarkey was interested. I went down to the Tizard Yard a couple of weeks ago when Cophead, they weren't so keen on Cophead because he hadn't come out of the Weatherby race so well. He's clearly working a lot better now. But they said then they thought Mr. Malarkey would love good ground, come on for the run. He's a lot shorter now than he was. But he's around 14 to 1, 16 to 1. I think he was 6th last year. I just thought he could go well. But it's a wide open race. I'd rather be a bookmaker than a punter. Vindication, I would say, I can't believe he's only had 11 lifetime starts for what he's achieved in many ways. He's been running behind very good horses like Defi the Soy Surname. As Tom said, if there's a Gold Cup horse in the field, it's probably him. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him win either.
Yeah, I liked Copperhead because, of course, he beat 2 for Gold in the Reynolstown, but it's a leap of faith after pulling up last time at Weatherby. Okay, we're going to do a couple of quick questions before we come towards the conclusion. We had a question from Fiona very early on. This was a question for Bassie. She said, given Bassie won on Sprinter Sack, are there any horses in Kim's Yard that gives him a similar feel? Anything that feels like Sprinter Sack?
There's not any two of them.
Yeah, there's loads of them. I don't think you can compare Sprinter Sacre to any other horse. I mean, I feel incredibly lucky that I ever got to sit on him. He was a freak. I remember schooling him like 4 days before I rode him in that novice chase, and I schooled him, and the athleticism and just the way he moves, I just thought, even I can't fuck this up on Friday. Sorry, I swore. I was a £3 claimer at the time, and I was so lucky to ride a horse like that. But I don't think I'll ever sit on a more athletic, sort of graceful mover like him. He was unbelievable.
Okay. Mike says, anyone thoughts on Kildesart for the Ladbrokes Trophy? Does anybody like Kildesart? John, you sounded like you were interested in him till knowing that Daryl went elsewhere.
Well, no, I was pleased to hear that it wasn't an easy decision. I just think he's a horse who's got a little bit of improvement still to come. Yeah, I just think that Vindication. I just think that Newbury will suit him. I know Tom says about going right-handed, but Weatherby, I think, is still left-handed, and he ran well enough up there. I just think the flat track will suit him. It's every time I've seen him run, I thought, it'll be up his street.
Okay. Time is against us. So one of the other questions is, who is the one to watch this weekend? So we'll move it on and ask the panel for their charity bets. And just to remind everybody, we're getting a £50 charity bet that will go, if there are any winnings, to the Injured Jockeys Fund. So, Rory.
Yeah, I've gone Vindication, of course. I see that. Yeah, but that's it. And it's a great course, as John said earlier, on the Injured Jockey Fund. Very close to Peter O'Sullivan's heart, and that he got me into this, really. He used to call me every April. He used to say, "Come and do my lunch. I've got a lunch if you come and speak at it." And I could never get out of it. I could never find an excuse. One year I found a really good excuse, and he said, "Well, I've actually put your name on the ticket, so you've got to be there." and then when he died, I thought, I'm going to miss those phone calls, and I got a call a few weeks later by Mike Dillon, and he said Peter's asked to see if he could speak at his memorial service. So there you go. But his last commentary was this race. In fact, the Ladbroke, the Hennessy, as it then was in '97, I think. Was it Mick Fitzgerald won that year? But anyway, so it was his last commentary. So okay, so money going to Injured Jockeys Fund, and I'm on Vindication.
Vindication. Frank's has also gone for Vindication. Simon, you and Tom have gone for the Russian Doyen.
Where'd you get that one from, Si?
I got in first. No, I didn't actually. I was told. No, well, he ran really well at the Paddy Power. Didn't really jump well out of the ground. Made mistakes. Was still there at the top of the hill. I think he'd be better over the shorter trip. He's won over course and distance. Yes, I'm going to say. I think they're going to ride him quite aggressively as well. So yeah, I quite like him.
Is that from the Tizard Yard? Is it? Fancy it, do they?
Yes, it's not my own work.
You came up with that.
Not from the Tizard. It's my own form study.
There's nothing more to add to that, is there, Tom? Dan,
Harry Compton back on's a big thing too.
Yeah, Dan, what was your?
I run Old Grange Wood in the big chase tomorrow. He won the race last year, and actually, I think won it 2 years previous to that as well. So he's pretty good around the track. He ran at Aintree when things didn't suit him, sort of 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he comes alive at this meeting. So I'm going to stick with him.
Old Grange Wood. I'm just writing this down.
Old Grangewood. And David's gone Walkabout, but I think.
Sorry, I'm running out of battery.
What did you go for? You went for an each way shot, did you, David?
I just went for a bet. Yeah. So, to be honest with you, I spoke to Nico earlier, and he said, "What's wrong with you? I had an each way chance," so that's why I put him in. See what sort of.
He wasn't just talking to you, was he?
Sorry?
He didn't look miserable. He wasn't just talking to you.
Yeah, he just felt sorry for me and just had a chat. But he seemed to think he had an each way chance.
Lovely. And I went for T Clipper on Saturday in that handicap hurdle, taking on Flash of Steel. Dan, sorry. Okay. Just before we wrap things up, we have a very special treat. Rory, you're going to tell us who is going to win this year's Ladbrokes Trophy in your own inimitable style.
Well, actually, it's not my own imitable style. It's actually Peter O'Sullivan's very imitable style. So here we go. As they take the cross fence with full lift to jump towards the back of the field, it's Danny Risbang with the Hollow Ginge and Sam Brown and Ballyhope Tick losing touch with the rest of the pack, led by Wright and Copperhead on the conditional. Mr. Malarkey, last year's sixth place, Colin Tizard's train, John Joe Jr. on board and 2 for gold, and La Baga Raw and Black Hop and Potterman on the outside. Still in contention, it's Ardleatham, trained by Dan Skelton and ridden by Harry Skelton, but it's Wright, and what a story this would be for Harry of Graham. It's pressed hard by Vindication with Mr. Malarkey, conditional Beware the Bear tucked in on the inside, and Cloth Cap and Kildisart and Ardleathan. And further back in the field, it's Sacred Investor and Regal Encore and Black Hop and 2 for Golden Potterman, but it's Wright with Copperhead, Robbie Power making ground for a third win in 5 years for Colin Tizard. Vindication finishing strongly, Beware the Bear sitting shotgun as they come to the line. It's Vindication with David Bass pushing Wright all the way with Copperhead finishing strongly, but it's Vindication Pulling away from my right and Copperhead, it's David Bass and Vindication for Kim Bailey to take the Ladbrokes Trophy 2020 as we hand you back to Rishi.
Brilliant.
I'm just any out, by the way.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Brilliant commentary.
I think
Did mine get round?
Superb.
What?
Did mine get round?
You
I
fell.
think I lost it somewhere. Anyway.
Well done to David. You've won it. Congratulations. Rory, thank you so much for
Pleasure.
that. That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you indeed to everyone who joined us for tonight's preview. And thank you to everybody who's made a contribution as well to the Injured Jockeys Fund. If you haven't, but you would like to, then please click on that link. Don't forget that you can watch every race at the Ladbrokes Winter Carnival on Racing TV. There's also live coverage on ITV as well. Thank you to Ladbrokes, Just Seats, Newbury Racecourse, of course, for their support. Thank you to Rory, to John, to Simon Clare, Tom Segal, and especially to Dan Skelton and David Bass, two guys competing at this year's Ladbrokes Winter Carnival. We wish them both, in particular, the best of luck over the 2 days, especially Dan, you've got runners on both days, and David, when you're there on Saturday, and good luck on Vindication. And to everybody who joined us tonight, be lucky, and hope you enjoy the 2 days that are on offer at Newbury. Thank you so much for everybody who's donated, and thank you for joining us tonight. Bye-bye. Have a great time.
Bye. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.